Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be discussing about pronouns in Spanish, specifically subject pronouns. With regard to the object pronoun, we'll be discussing it in the succeeding videos once we reach the topic about direct object and indirect object. But before we proceed, let's define what is a pronoun. A pronoun is a word that replaces a noun. The question is, why do we need to replace a noun? Well, the answer is simple. Because we need to avoid repetition. For example, John loves her. John always gives her flower. Now, to avoid using the same subject noun in the succeeding sentences and to make it sound better, we will be replacing the subject noun with a subject pronoun. So in this case, it will be he. So in the example given a while ago, that would become John loves her. He always gives her flowers. There are more subject pronouns in Spanish than that in English. So let's start with the first person singular. So in English, we have I as the first person singular. In Spanish, that would be yo. Yo. Now, first person plural, that would be in English, we. In Spanish, that would be nosotros. Nosotros. Now, comes the second person singular. Unlike in English, in which we only have one, which is you, in Spanish we have two for second person singular and another two for second person plural. So it is categorized as formal and informal. Let's discuss the formal way of saying you first. So in Spanish, we use usted as second person singular whenever we are addressing a person older than us, or whenever we are addressing professionals such as doctors, teachers, lawyers, etc., or kings or queens, for example. We use the tú or the informal way of saying you, which is tú, whenever we are addressing a person of similar age, for example, our friends, our classmates, brothers, sisters, etc. Same goes with the second person plural form. So we use ustedes whenever we are addressing persons older than us, or whenever we are addressing professionals, kings or queens, and the like. While we use vosotros whenever we are addressing persons of similar age, like our friends, brothers or sisters. To add, the vosotros form is no longer used in some other countries. It's only used in Spain. Now, for third person singular, we have two, and those are, first is él, referring to masculine subject, which is the equivalent of he in English, and the other one is ella, which is for feminine, and that is the equivalent of she in English. With regard to the third person plural, we have two in Spanish, unlike in English, in which we only have one, which is the they. In Spanish, we have masculine and feminine, ellos for masculine, y ellas for feminine. Unlike in English as well, in Spanish, we do not have the equivalent of the word of the subject pronoun it, and the reason behind it is that in Spanish, all nouns have genders. It could either fall under the category of masculine or a feminine category. So whenever we are referring to whatever nouns falling under the masculine category, then we will be using él, and for whatever nouns falling under the feminine category, we'll be using ella. So let's have a quick recap. For first person singular, that would be yo. For a first person plural, that would be nosotros. For second person singular formal, that will be usted. Second person plural formal, ustedes. Second person singular informal, tú. Second person plural informal, vosotros. Third person singular feminine, ella. Third person singular, masculine, él. Third person plural, masculine, ellos. Third person plural, feminine, ellas. So that's all for today. Goodbye for now.